Hey everyone. Yeah, I guess you could say this is a bit of a vlog here. I'm off today. It it is the 13th of October. Sorry, I'm moving the headset a little bit. It's the 13th of October, 2014. It's about 11:09, about 11:10 a.m. Yeah, I tell you, it's been quite a week at my job. I mean, you want to talk about busy? It's getting there. It's not about that. You want to talk about busy? It's getting there. There's no doubt about it. I mean, with the baseball playoffs going on right now and football season, and of course going into Halloween and eventually the holiday season, it's going to get busy. There's no doubt about it. It's been a very interesting, very busy day, busy week. I'll tell you that. Say that. It's been a very busy week, and I'll explain why. You see, a couple weeks ago, about a week ago or so, I get pulled in. Like I mentioned in my last work vlog, I think I get pulled into the offices, into the assistant manager's office in the back, and I'm basically given the lecture that I need to be faster, that I need to be higher with my SPH. Now, SPH, in case you don't know, is scans per hour. And so I'm touching the headset there, kind of adjusting it. But basically, SPHs, in case you don't know, is scans per hour. Okay. I'm trying to adjust the mic on the headset here. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, that's better. But, like I said, the SPHs are basically scans per hour. In other words, how many scans can you do in a time frame, right? Well, anybody that works in retail, whether it's at a Walmart or a Target or Kmart or Kohl's, wherever, a supermarket like a Safeway, a Lucky's, an Albertsons, a Food Max, a Food for Less, a Cost Less, Costco, Windco, wherever. Basically, you kind of understand what I'm talking about, that you got to go fast, right? Well, here's the thing. When I started with this job in February, I don't think we got on the registers until at least around the end of February, around the beginning of March. We had to be trained first. We did the CBLs and all that before we could do certain things, but we were almost put right on there, right? Almost put like right on the registers and all that, but still we had to do the CBLs and things like that. So, anyway, I've been with this job since February. And in that time, especially with March, in that time, nobody ever gave me or anybody else the secrets as to how to get certain numbers in a certain position. Now, I had scanned several times to where my numbers were in the thousands, but of course they would decrease a little bit as the day went on. So I wouldn't really stay around there, and at times I would just be around 600, 700, maybe just about 800. Now, from what I was told in trainings, if you get between 800 and 1,000, you're doing good. That's your goal. But apparently things change. Things change to the point that now you got to be between 900 and 1,000. Okay, I can understand that. You want to be between there so you can at least tell people, hey, I'm getting people out of here real quickly. Customers are not complaining. They're getting the stuff out. Boom, 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 bang. Well, again, nobody ever told me this, and I don't think they ever told anybody else this. And if they had, some still kind of wonder and ask, some people wonder, I should say, that, why are you doing that? I thought it didn't work. Because apparently it has been used before. But according to one associate, when I explained how I was doing now and how it could help him, he's like, oh, I thought that didn't work anymore. Now, I'm not sure if maybe in a sense, what he's getting at is that when they first did this or started using this method, that maybe they didn't want the cashier's using it and they just want to basically automatically do it on their own. Like go from one hand to the other, take one item from one hand to the other, boom, 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 right? And then try to bag them, or at least help the customer bag them. There's a problem with that, though. The more time you spend helping the customer bag, or you're bagging it for them, the more time is taken off your SPH, your scans per hour. So, again, how is that possible, right? So, anyway, no one really told me or anybody, some others, the secret until recently, I guess. Or some people pretty much already knew it from previous jobs. But here's the thing. It didn't help that I was outside doing carts a lot for about a month and a half. It didn't really help there. Why? Because one, I wasn't getting the time I needed to not only do my CBLs that I was scheduled to do, but I wasn't getting the time to get on the registers and be able to learn exactly what I needed to do. I never really had that opportunity. So anyway, like I said, I never really had that opportunity because I was outside for about a month and a half doing carts. I come back in, I still have CBLs to do and stuff, okay, that's fine. But nobody ever told me right off the bat what to do, how to get the scans per hour. That is until recently. You see, I've been praying a lot. I'll go into my job, and as soon as I clock in and I'm walking towards the scanner, the coax machine, whatever it's called, scan my badge and see what register I'm going to be on, I pray. I ask God to keep me protected, keep the store protected, keep his angels around the store, keep out any evil spirits, demons, whatever. Just give a peaceful, understanding atmosphere. Allow those in the management position to understand that we're doing our best. So, anyway, one of our CSMs, she's kind of fairly new at it, Melanie, she knows I can do this. She knows I can do it. She has confidence. She's seen that I can improve. So one day I was talking to her as she was checking out, as she was leaving, and she kind of took her time and kind of explained, okay, well, what you're doing is I'm noticing you're doing this and this and this and this. And okay, that's fine, but you're losing SPH because you're kind of like doing this, putting there. Instead, what you need to do is go total, hit the total button, and that helps. So I take her advice. And then another fellow associate of mine named Monica, she gives me similar advice, but then says, add the check button. So I go total check, and lo and behold, it works. So I applied that the next day, which was Saturday, the start of this work week, and it worked. For the entire day, it worked. I applied it yesterday. It worked. Yeah, it dipped a little bit in the 992s, but for a majority of the time, it worked. And then she also gives me the advice that if you do price inquiry or whatever, that's going to drop you. But if you do price inquiry or you check the price and then void it, that helps you out. Okay, so similar methods. But the main method is total check. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what does it mean by total check? What are they talking about, Brian? Well, what they're talking about mainly is with any register, and again, it all depends on who you work for. After you've scanned a certain amount of items, you got to tap total and check almost simultaneously, like one after the other real quickly. And then that basically gives you time to bag the items, to help the person out bag the items, maybe go get help from a CSM if it's too busy or whatever, right? So, anyway, that's what I did. That's what I've been doing, and it's been helping. In fact, I'm beyond 1,000 at times. Sometimes I've been ending the day above 1,000 now. My workday above 1,000. So hopefully I'll keep that up tomorrow. You see, tomorrow, if I look at my schedule, I think I'm doing like 2 to 11. I believe that's an 8-hour shift. No, I'm doing 2:30 to 11. 2:30 to 11, so that's a 7.5-hour shift with a 6 o'clock lunch. Or dinner, whatever you want to call it. But I'm been doing that lately, so it's helping out. It all depends on how you start out, so it helps out in the long run. But my question was, why didn't they ever tell me this in the beginning? Why didn't they tell any of us of this in the beginning? I think it's because it all depended on what was going on. I think it all depended on the fact that you had certain people in charge, like certain CSMs in charge, that didn't know the method or did know the method, but didn't want to say anything because maybe it would get you in trouble. I'm not saying it's going to get anybody in trouble because I think what they're looking at is how fast you can go. Now I hope and pray they're not just going to say, okay, you get your scans up high, that's good. Now we got to see how fast you can go. It's like, okay, 7.77 seconds ain't bad, right? But what I'm hoping and praying, what I'm hoping and praying they do not do is start saying, can you get below that? Oh yeah, you can get below it, but you got to be like a Speedy Gonzalez. You got to be like a whee. You got to be like that. You got to be like Speedy Gonzalez or the Roadrunner. Beep beep. Pew! You got to be like that, you know. But to me, I hope and pray they don't go in that direction. I don't think they will because I think it's mostly those scans per hour. They want to see who is indeed the fastest in that store, who could be potentially the best in that store. And I think in a sense they also want to prove through those scans per hour that look, this person could get this much done within their workday, proving we're the fastest store in the county or we're the fastest store around. Because I still look at it like it's a competition between all Walmarts. I know it's a competition between all Targets and Kmarts and Kohl's and all that. You can all be the same store under the same company banner and in different regions and all that, but it's always a competition between each other because you want to see who's faster. Now, again, like I said, had they told me that right off the bat, and someone told me that right off the bat, I wouldn't be looked at as someone that wasn't the quickest. I am good. I am quick. I know that. I just never, like I said, had that missing piece of the puzzle given to me. I've never been given that advice, and now I have it. But I'll tell you, it's also been kind of a week of rumors too. Apparently, it sounds like the assistant manager that talked to me could or could not be on her way out of the front end of the store, which is, in charge of being in charge of carts and all that. And she could end up being in the back area or someplace else. Not saying that's true, but that's a rumor. That's a possibility. There's also a rumor that one of our store managers is no longer with us. He's either been fired, transferred to another store, suspended indefinitely. We don't know. So, there's that rumor. And of course, like I said, we have new CSMs. Melanie, she's been doing it for about a month now or so she's getting good at it. Very established, about a month, almost month and a half. Jessica, who transferred from a store in Missouri and transferred in as a cashier and now is slowly becoming a CSM, still a CSM in training. She's doing good, very understanding. And then we got another guy that worked with us briefly at night, a couple nights ago. And his name's Eric. He's an older dude. And he's now a CSM as well. Because I think they had said, hey, we're going to get you in there. Because I think he has experience doing that. So he kind of understands what to do and how to do it. And, more CSMs, that's great. Getting more CSMs out there, that's great. That helps us out. It helps them out. Especially like last night. Last night, they didn't have a closing CSM until they had to call Melanie in. And I'll tell you why. Because she would have been left. I don't know who she got to close with her last night, but I'll say this. The one thing that still needs to be worked on is the scheduling. It's very, very strange. You see, my schedule, my schedule for next week is kind of strange because on the 20th, I got 2 shifts. Weird, I know. A 2-hour shift and a 3-hour shift or something. It's weird. 3.5-hour shift. But anyway, it's been a very interesting week, and it's the new week's ending on a positive note. So it's been one of those weeks, But let me know what you guys think, and if you've dealt with anything similar to what I've talked about.